In my previous video essay I talked about the recurring problem in student films being the narrative, with the majority of novice filmmaking being their use of dialogue as exposition and unintentionally ignoring the show don't tell rule. I decided that the best way to counter this problem is by adapting a pre-existing story and making it my own through the adaptation process. From reading prose for adapting books into film script, I learned the importance of making the piece your own, that you can take the general story beats or plots and alter the story to fit your message. Think Disney's The Lion King being a loose adaptation of Hamlet. I wanted to adapt Owendean's short, I Hear, a recount of a traveler's pilgrimage across the cosmos. While my original idea was to have the narrator being victim recounting her tale, I decided to change it into the narrator being a banshee. Hailing from Irish mythology, the banshee is seen as an omen of coming death. I wanted the banshee to warn the viewer about the killer, making them an active part of the story. Because of my desire to merge live action with animation, cinematography became one of the most difficult aspects to plan out, mainly because it's hard to take a shot when the majority of it is missing. To help me in tackling this process, I read up on interviews with specialists in making opening credits. For example, in her interview with Art of the Title, Patrick Clare talks about how the landscape and setting revealed the characters and reflects their internal struggles, matching the show's writing and general themes, but put emphasis on keeping the shots abstract to the point where they don't feel part of the story, but still give a general idea of the narrative. I did this through taking abstract shots of the murder locations that help convey the feel of dread but also wonder. I used close-up shots that gave away small details but still capture the texture of the landscape. I wanted this style of shot so it would have a complementary contrast to the clean animation style that I was using. During the editing process I was inspired by Sammy Field's speech about the importance of experimentation and the use of natural flow and using abrupt cuts when talking about her adaptation of death in her short film Dead Birds. While editing the short film I used the music and the dialogue to help guide the cuts, trying to match up the imagery to the current subject. This helped create continuity and reinforce the themes/message of that I was trying to convey. Because of the use of animation, editing took up a large portion of the making of this editing, many of which I had to learn, and the majority of it being a success. The only aspect which I see as a failure is the face animation. My original plan was to use a recording of the actor's face and use that as a template to plan out the movements. However, the video footage was corrupted, and when I tried free drawing the movements, I felt like it was too loose and didn't reflect or match the tone that I had created. When I return to this project, this will be the main focus of my attention. When planning the mise en scene I wanted to create a dreamlike quality, similar to the work of animator Chloe Jackson. This was captured through the use of geometric shapes and block colors. The use of flat adjacent colors are given texture by being overlaid with the footage taken from the crime scene. My main worry with my work is that the mise en scene doesn't reinforce my theme and that the viewer might get a different interpretation about the meaning behind my work and it being a warning about the killer. This is my first project where I worked directly with an actor. For this opportunity I looked further into the work of Konstantin Stanislavski, focusing on his theory on the actor and director working together so they can create the best performance possible. I did this by bouncing ideas from the actor, and I believe that this helped in capturing the uneasy tone of the banshee. In conclusion, I believe that while elements of the short films are a success, breaking away from the negative connotations of a student short film, that I still failed in reaching the brief's targets of addressing the subject of murder, with the mise en scene and general narrative not conveying the message clearly.